Well, do I have good news for you all today. As you can see by the title, Bungie has listened. I haven't said anything about this, it's going to be the first time, but I feel like it's a good time to talk about it. Today we are also going to go through all of the latest Marathon information, the open alpha, the rarity of items, how the game is going to function, and how the game is going to be updated. They even touched on the anti-cheat. With that said, we've got a lot to talk about today, so let's get into the video. So before we get into the smaller details, let's start with the big news. I'll give you the context first, and then what you don't know. Bungie announces they are lifting the NDA, the non-disclosure agreement, so anyone who gets access to the alpha can stream, record, and publish gameplay. The official post reads, as developers, we believe community feedback and dialogue is essential to make the best version of Marathon. Up until now, this feedback has come from closed playtest sessions. In a spirit of building towards that future, we've decided to remove the NDA from our closed alpha test. Everyone can share their thoughts, feedback, and footage. This also includes streaming starting on April 23rd. Now personally, I was really excited when I read this, as it's going to allow me to go into insane levels of detail for you guys. It's going to allow me to truly break down the game to its very bones. I'll go through all of the weaponry, the spawn system, the PvE versus the PvP. How do the classes feel? How does the game look in-game? Everything you would possibly want to know. I'm going to cover all of it. What nobody in the world knows, and this is the first time I'm sharing it, the NDA, the non-disclosure agreement, was lifted because of me. That's right, I personally reached out to Bungie after the reveal with all of the concerns all of you guys had with the game. I was brutal with my feedback, but respectful. It's what I've done for years with Halo to help give players a voice. What I pitched to Bungie was that if players were able to share alpha gameplay, it would allow for better feedback, both good and bad. In the message I sent to Bungie, I said that opening up the alpha will allow players to get a better idea of the game. It'll give you guys as developers an idea of what needs to be changed, and it also continues that dialogue you guys say you're talking about, giving critical pieces of information the public needs to know everything about this game. It will allow you guys, the people watching this video, to make an educated assessment of the game and not have to wait months for the open beta. I am going to go through absolutely everything, and then you can make your own informed decision on whether this game is for you. I am going to quickly add, as I think this is important, Bungie spoke about having an open dialogue, and the fact that I could make this suggestion, they got back to me and they said they were going to run it up the food chain, as they felt like this was a really good idea. That is the very definition of listening to your player base, so I have to give them props for doing that. Now in saying that, official leakers posted saying that leadership was nervous after the reveal, but tried to reassure teams that things would be fine. Bungie leadership does have reason for concern. I've gone through it numerous times, but there are legitimate concerns about this game. Customization, PvE, a stronger narrative story, and how the extraction game mode itself will actually play. It's why I argued that if I can give feedback and actually record and share said gameplay, I can give you guys, the viewers, a better look at the title. Also going to be very important, because even though content creators got to go to Bungie and test the game, which I wasn't at by the way, was limited in terms of how long they actually got to play Marathon. Now after I submitted the idea for the alpha gameplay to be shareable, so people could get a better idea of the game, the leadership at Bungie decided that allowing everyone to see the alpha, both good and bad, would, quote, help shift the narrative. All I'm going to say at this point, as it doesn't matter until I actually play the game, is it's nice to see they have faith in their product, or this wouldn't happen. So with that out of the way, let's get down to all of the details you need to know about the upcoming alpha and the new information about Marathon. First of all, we know the alpha goes live April 23rd. Invites are slowly going out in waves, and if you haven't checked your email, check it. You may have an invite. The closed alpha is literally a technical test ahead of launch. If they allowed everyone to join in at this point, there would be major networking issues. This test is actually very similar to Halo Infinite, where the first few flight tests were technical tests, so 343 Industries could test the new systems in place in a controlled environment. Continuing on that vein, that's why the test is North America focused only, as that's the only data center that is currently up and running. They're working on the other data centers as we speak. In August, there's plans of an open beta, and then a full release September 23rd. The additions of the game should also be announced when the open beta takes place. It's also important important to note, the game will still remain priced at around $40. The game will not be going free to play. Apparently, from what I've heard, the game going free to play isn't even a possibility, like a flat out zero chance it will ever happen. Now, with the alpha going live, Bungie made a list of everything that isn't in the game currently, but in saying that, that tells us what's going to be in the finished product. So first up on the list is final visuals and graphics, which means another arting pass. How the game looks is all but guaranteed. Secondly is full and polished UI, the user interface, the menu system, and on screen is the main menu of the alpha so you can all see. Third is all of the content, so runners, zones, maps, weapons, items, you get the idea. It's an alpha. Long-term progression and systems. It's nice to see at launch a game will have a progression system. Looking at you, Halo. And finally, ranked play and a complete narrative and storytelling system. We will see how strong the narrative is closer to launch. Now, speaking of campaign narrative information, boss fights have also been revealed, as well as information on every map. So in Marathon, boss fights will have you fighting through different rooms. In each room, a certain enemy drops a key to open the next area. Eventually, there's a big boss fight. Defeating said boss drops an artifact. It's important to note that you could fight through all of that, get the artifact, kill the boss, and then as soon as you're trying to extract, a player is waiting for you to assassinate you and take everything for themselves. So just keep that in mind. In terms of maps, each map will actually have different amounts of players on them. This caught me off guard, but I'll put it on screen now. So Perimeter supports 5 teams of 3. Dire Marsh, the map you've all seen from gameplay, is 6 teams of 3. Third is Outpost, which is a harder map, and that only has 3 to 4 teams of 3, so it actually has less teams overall. And finally, the fourth map, which is coming during Season 1, is the UESC Marathon, like the actual ship, the Marathon. That map has a 20% survival rate, and it hasn't been revealed how many teams will be on the map at once. In saying that, at this point, that fourth map that is coming out during Season 1, it's still being worked on, so it's a work in progress. Now, speaking of Season 1, the first season is going to be called A New Gold Rush, and it led on to Bungie talking about customization. Bungie confirmed that players will be able to customize the look of their runners and weapons with skins. I'm just going to say on behalf of every single one of you watching this video, we want full character customization like your past games. This is especially the case because you guys, Bungie, just unveiled plans for there to be extra runners, weapons, consumables, pretty much more of everything. I feel the more customizations people have, the better. Next on the list today, we have anti-cheat, and Marathon is going to have the same anti-cheat as Destiny 2. Yes, that raises a lot of concerns because Destiny 2 anti-cheat is horrible. The amount of cheaters on Destiny 2 is ridiculous. The only positive I can point out, and it's a big one, is dedicated servers. Dedicated servers will really improve the overall efficiency of BattleEye the anti-cheat Marathon is going to use, and it's going to make it harder for hackers to ruin lobbies. How effective will the anti-cheat be? We'll see when the game comes out. Finally today, we have the Prestige system. The Prestige system is kind of like Borderlands, and ironically, Marathon launches the same day as Borderlands. Loot will have a rarity system that ranges from standard to Prestige. As items progressively become rarer, they will have unique perks and abilities. Honestly, just like Borderlands. The Prestige specific cores have actually been shared by Bungie, and these cores will enhance the abilities of players. For example, I'll be using the character Void. Void is all about stealth and knives. You can go invisible with Void. If you become invisible and attack a player with the Prestige core on your character, it will greatly increase the damage of your knife. I'd imagine it would almost be a one-hit kill assassination. That means if you load in with really elite gear, you're going to have a massive advantage over anyone who doesn't have the same. And there you have it. That is everything new about Marathon you need to know. The alpha codes are being sent out right now, so keep checking your inboxes if you did sign up. If you would like to see some brand new raw gameplay, I'm going to link Drewski's video in the description. Honestly, he's done a better job than Bungie at marketing their game so far. And he was kind enough to let me grab some B-roll footage, the footage you've been watching in-game on Marathon today, so go check him out. I was both surprised and excited that Bungie listened to me and agreed to lift the NDA, the non-disclosure agreement, for everyone. So with that said, once April 23rd rolls around, expect me to really put the game through its paces. I'll give you an honest opinion on everything on the game, and then you can make your own decision on if Marathon is for you. If that is something you're interested in, subscribe. Lots of Marathon stuff on the way. But with that said, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.